Hi everyone, excuse me. Hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center. We are live for this Wednesday edition of 19 at Noon. Apologies for the slight delay here. We were trying to get some Facebook and YouTube activity up, but for some reason, internet's not working properly, but we've got it fixed now. We are good to go here on this hump day. Happy Wednesday everybody. Meteorologist Emery here on our Wednesday edition of 19 at Noon. We're streaming wherever you stream, including on YouTube. Eventually we'll be able to have a chat there. But for right now, if you have any questions or comments, you can go to our Facebook page at Fox 19. Also, my Facebook page at Emery WX. But right now, things are looking pleasant when you step outside. Here's a live look on our rooftop camera here in Queensgate, looking over towards downtown Cincinnati, and it should be pointed towards Paycor Stadium once this loads. And you'll see here, again, a lot of sunshine out there right now, with just a few clouds developing. It's what we call fair weather cumulus clouds, little puffy clouds, indicates nice weather, which we'll have plenty of today. And right now, temperatures are warming up. Today's going to be a bit warmer. We have a high about 87 degrees this afternoon, though it could get into the upper 80s, 88, 89 perhaps, because at this rate, already at 84 here this hour. And taking a look now at our Newport Levee camera, this is one of my favorite shots, looking towards downtown. Temperatures right now, also again, 84 degrees. Excuse me. So what we're going to do now is take a look at any kind of traffic conditions that are outside. And as you can see, there are really not much in the way of any kind of incidents, just a few slowdowns, which is kind of typical for this time of the day. Anywhere from the 275 I-71-75 intersection all the way down towards the Cut in the Hill. But otherwise, though, we're not looking at kind of major incidents on the roadways here for the lunch hour. And radar, of course, is nice and quiet. And radar and satellite, looking at a regional standpoint, we've got activity here to the west. This is not going to affect us at all. In fact, you can see it's beginning to dive its way southward, and so we're going to be staying dry. But we are going to look at some clouds moving in as we head into late tonight into tomorrow, and that's about it for us for the middle of the work week. Right now, temperatures again into those mid-80s, 84 right now here in Cincinnati. We're actually warmer than Nashville. Right now, they're 83 degrees down there in central Tennessee, 79 up in Detroit, 80 in Chicago, 79 in St. Louis, and dew points still comfortable. We have that dry air mass overhead, which is going to be nice for today, but tomorrow you'll notice the humidity slowly going up through the day. Now, it's manageable, but it'll be noticeably just a little bit more humid compared to today. And again, right now, we're into those low to mid 80s. A few areas still in the upper 70s from Lebanon to Wilmington. 77 up in Richmond, Indiana, just north of Union County in southeast Indiana. 81 in Batesville, Harrison, Middletown. 85 at the Lunken Airport. 84 Hamilton. 83 Batavia. And 82 to our friends down in Falmouth there over in DeBrackin County. Dew points right now, again, manageable. Upper 50s, low 60s. Still pretty comfortable through the majority of the tri-state, the exceptions being Batesville and in Lebanon, where dew points are into the low to mid 60s. That's kind of a hyper-local due to agriculture, where those airports are. And the winds right now are looking pretty light, around 5 to 10 miles per hour. No wind gusts that are being measured, and looks to stay that way throughout the day today. Now, today's high up to 87. Looking at mostly sunny skies for the bulk of the day today. Just a few clouds developing with the daytime heating, but it still looks pleasant nonetheless. And across the region, we still got upper 70s for highs up towards Cleveland, but everyone else, though, into the mid-80s. Anywhere from Indianapolis, Chicago, Columbus, Charleston, West Virginia, Lexington, Kentucky at 88 degrees today. 89, the warmest spot in Nashville this afternoon. And clouds are increasing for those folks with that activity we showed you off to the west. And now what we're going to do now is take a look at the forecast model data. And we're going to play this into motion. This is going to go all the way into Friday, I believe, morning, maybe even Friday early afternoon. So we'll take a look at that here. So we're going to place into motion. Again, tonight we're quiet, but clouds will increase late tonight into Thursday morning. Thursday, clouds really increase throughout the day. And Thursday evening, we could see the chance for a few showers. Let's go back on that. So Thursday night into Friday morning, we could run into a few showers and thunderstorms. It looks like it's going to be close, if not after sunset. And the activity moving through Thursday evening, I think, is going to pose the biggest risk of heavy rain. So this will be particularly for folks in southeast Indiana and portions of northern Kentucky. So these areas here, Thursday close to sunset and later. So what I mean by that anytime after 8 o'clock basically and onward, we could see the potential for some heavy downpours in these locations. Now, it's not a first alert weather day. We're just talking about late in the evening, some heavy downpours, some thunder and lightning, and some gusty winds perhaps out of it, but nothing looks to be severe Thursday evening. However, we go into late Thursday night into Friday morning. We are looking at some clusters of showers and storms. Models are beginning to go back and forth on whether the heaviest stuff comes Friday morning or Friday afternoon. Regardless, we are going to see some showers and thunderstorms into the area at some point on Friday. Now this model, here we go, we'll back it up a little bit. This model, this one's been a little wild. So it's now trying to push it to be even later Friday night. I don't buy this quite yet. So what we're going to do now is take a look at another model I trust a little bit more than this one right now. And what that's going to do is show the scattered activity perhaps on Friday morning and on Friday afternoon. And Friday does have a conditional risk for maybe a few strong storms. And what we'll do now is play this into motion. So Thursday evening, we could see a few showers and storms. Here it is Friday morning. So this model is a little egregious with the amount of rain, but we could certainly see perhaps a couple of stronger storms Friday morning for the morning commute. We go into Friday late morning into the early afternoon. We could see the atmosphere destabilize a little bit, enough to where we could see some redevelopment of scattered showers and thunderstorms, a few of which could also bring in some heavy downpours and some gusty winds. And then Friday night, the activity does drift its way eastward, and then both Saturday and Sunday do pose the risk of some widely scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder for both Saturday and Sunday. And with that, we are looking at humidity sticking around. What we're going to do is show you that muggy meter real quick. And the muggy meter does show that we are looking at a big uptick in humidity going into our Thursday night into Friday. You'll see that here in just a moment. So there it is, that big uptick Thursday night into Friday. So pretty muggy conditions for your Friday. Saturday and Sunday, noticeable humidity. It's not going to be really bad, but it's going to be enough to where you step outside and you're going to feel a little bit of humidity when you walk outside. Not like it is today, that's for sure. And what we're going to do now is show you that updated 7-day forecast, and then I'll take a look at some questions and comments on our Facebook page, and then we will go ahead and continue on looking at the extended forecast beyond the 7-day with the outlooks from the Climate Prediction Center, who I actually agree with what they're going to say, which we'll show you that in a moment. So I just updated this, looking at some data earlier. Got a high of 87 today, looking pretty good for the Reds. Going into tonight into tomorrow, clouds will slowly increase. Got a high of 89 tomorrow. So I've warmed up Thursday because the chances of rain are being pushed back later and later in the day. So it's going to allow for daytime heating to get a little bit higher. So the morning low is around 64, afternoon high around 89. Now Friday, we got scattered showers and storms. I think there's a lot of questions about how warm it'll get Friday depending on how wet it gets Friday morning. We see a lot of heavy rain on Friday morning. We may not get quite this warm. But if it does dry out like models are beginning to show the trends of, then I think we could make it to 86. And right now I'm following the trend of perhaps the rain activity on Friday morning to not be quite as widespread. However, I can't rule it out right now. We're just going to say scattered showers and storms on Friday, both the morning and the afternoon. Timing it right now is a little tricky depending on what model you look at. So I can't give you a definitive answer if you're asking, hey, at 3:30 in the afternoon, I need to do this. Well, there's going to be a chance of showers and storms in the region. When we get to tomorrow, we might have a better case as to where the most widespread stuff will be. Though I will say right now, the widespread stuff looks to be either in the morning or late in the evening. Middle of the day doesn't look to be quite as robust as both the morning or the evening, but that's going to change, I will say. Friday night into Saturday, the front passes through, and in both Saturday and Sunday, we have what's called wrapped around moisture behind the low pressure system, which will bring us the chance for afternoon pop-up showers, maybe a few thunderstorms, but in this case, it's mostly just light showers, and temperatures will be a little bit cooler, noticeably cooler behind that low, behind the front. Low 80s, morning lows will be generally in the lower 60s. So Friday night to Saturday morning, still looking at a bit more humidity into the area. And then early next week, we do look dry, sunshine, highs in the low to mid 80s and lows in the lower 60s, which is near normal for this time of the year. Okay, that being said, let's take a look at some of those Facebook comments and questions. Okay. Rachel saying severe chances, question mark. Some weather page said that the main threat for Thursday and Friday is a tornado threat, but SPC, I think, said it was a wind and hail and didn't mention anything about tornadoes. Whatever Facebook page said that, or weather page of some sorts, don't know weather. So the threat Thursday night into Friday, we'll go back to that model real quick. The SPC does have a marginal risk, by the way. I haven't had a chance to build that map yet, but I will say the tri-state does have a marginal risk of severe weather. That's a level 1 out of 5, a low-end risk, both Thursday night and Friday. Thursday night, it's going to be to our western counties. Friday, over all the tri-state. And the main threat looks to be damaging straight-line winds. Tornado threat is very, very low. Now, in this scenario, you can't entirely rule it out, but it is rather low. It's the lower end threat compared to everything else. Mind you, I think the biggest threat Thursday night and Friday are going to be heavy rain and strong winds. Those two, the patterns we've been in the last several weeks have been kind of favorable for those things, and it continues to be that. So potential for localized flooding as well as straight line damaging wind potential. And again, it's a lower threat, it's a marginal risk of severe weather. The tornado threat does not look that high. I can assure you that. None of the data suggests that that's the highest threat in this scenario. Sorry, we're getting a lot of work emails coming in all at the same time. I have to check those out after this live show. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be mainly a wind threat. The hail threat, I mean, I don't see it being damaging hail. I think, if anything, it might be small hail Thursday night into Friday. So thank you, Rachel, for chiming in there, and appreciate your comments. Appreciate you asking that. It's very, I really appreciate that, and I wouldn't lie to you about that. And not to mention, it's always good to double check with the source whenever there's weather pages that like to hype things. Oftentimes, us in the media get blamed for hype, when a lot of the times it's what we call social meteorologists. Folks who don't know weather, they call themselves enthusiasts. I'm not calling all those Facebook pages that, because there's some, honest Facebook pages that do their best and try not to hype things up, but there are some out there that ruin it for a lot of folks on social media. And quite frankly, if you have a meteorology degree, you know better. That's all I'll say on that. But we do look at the threat for, again, a few strong storms Thursday late night into Friday. And again, Friday with the timing, it's a little all over the place. Like I said, some models suggest Friday morning, while others are saying more like Friday afternoon. This model has been very consistent. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards this right now. And the case is a cluster of storms. We call it an MCS. I've mentioned this several times on here before. There is that threat on Friday. And you can see kind of the way it spins right here. It kind of acts like its own little system. And that could bring in with it the damaging straight line winds and heavy rain. These kind of systems are known for those two things. Can't fully rule out a tornado threat, but it does look to be the lowest end. I want to really assure that, bring that point home. But we are... But yeah. So thank you, Rachel. Fred says, how bad is a drought, or is it showing yet? So I showed this over the weekend, and I don't know if Frank or Catherine or Steve have shown the drought monitor yet. I believe Steve has. But the drought monitor here, it only gets updated once a week. So the drought monitor, what they do is they look at data and they process it on Tuesday. And that's where the data comes in, and then they publish it on Thursday. So this is the drought monitor as of last Thursday when they published it, but really the data reflects last Tuesday. So this is more than a week old, basically, when it comes to the data. So They already have the new drought monitor going to be coming out tomorrow morning at around 8 a.m., and I'll show that on Fox 19 as I'm filling in for meteorologist Catherine Bodak tomorrow. But I would not be surprised if the severe drought kind of makes its way to our eastern counties. These areas really need the rain, and right now they're just not getting it because of this pattern. Now, there are a couple other spots that do have moderate drought conditions in Mason, as well as into Robertson counties, also towards northern portions of, I should say, northern Kentucky, eastern Hamilton, and Claremont counties here where we have that there. So drought conditions are here in the tri-state, especially for areas along and east of I-71. And this will be updated tomorrow, and I would not be surprised to see more moderate and even perhaps severe drought conditions in part of the tri-state. So thanks, Fred, for asking. I will show you that tomorrow on 19 at noon. Sorry, I've got a lot of messages coming in, and this time of day, people don't know that I'm doing my weather show. Okay. Rachel says, yes, I follow one, and they're very iffy on all weather. Yeah, no. Rachel, that's a great way to look at this. It's good to gather all information. You know, you find a source, and you always want to have, you know, reassurance as to what the forecast is going to be, because weather is a very challenging science. So having multiple sources, I don't doubt that, or I don't blame that at all. That's a really good way to look at it. But there are Facebook pages out there who sometimes can be deceiving and do it for clickbait, and that's not how you should operate. So here's that 7-day forecast again behind me. We do have some rain chances. Areas that do need the rain could see that primarily Thursday night and Friday, and then over the weekend, the rain does not look to be very significant, nor does it look to be a lot. It looks like it's just going to be widely scattered showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. But thank you, Rachel. Always appreciate your comments. Carla says, yeah, Highland County hasn't had hardly any rain for over a month. Our garden didn't do very well at all. Sorry to hear that, Carla. And my dad told me over the weekend when I was having lunch with him that he hasn't had a chance to mow, and he's going to have a really bad hay yield. He bales hay and stuff, and it's going to be really hard for him to have that. Okay, looking at my Facebook page real quick, as I'm also streaming there as well. Okay, no one's commented there. Jeff. Every day Jeff's asking about snow. We've got a long way to go before we get there. Wishful thinking, though. Okay, so the Climate Prediction Center issues outlooks every day when it comes to the next week, next 2 weeks, and then when it comes to the next 3 to 4 weeks and stuff like that, they issue it about once every, I think, week, if I'm not mistaken. So what we're going to do is take a look at the next 2 weeks as well as the next 3 to 4 weeks, which they did update, so I will show you that here in a moment. So this is the next 2 weeks. Gray means normal, and we're kind of in this pattern here where I agree with this, where the next 2 weeks, that would be from the 28th of August through, or excuse me, the 21st of August through the 28th. So pretty much through the end of August, temperatures look to be near normal. So highs generally in the low to mid 80s, lows in the low to mid 60s. So that's what I actually just updated on our 7-day and actually our 10-day and even 14-day forecast, which you can find that on the First Alert weather app. I updated it to reflect that where highs are generally in those low to mid 80s and lows in the upper 50s and low 60s. And with this, it does look a bit drier, unfortunately. So the areas that need the rain probably don't like seeing this news, but that's kind of what the pattern is indicating. There are some chances of rain, I will say. If you really want to pick my brain, I will say beyond the 7-day forecast, going into the following week, not this upcoming, but next Thursday, Friday, could see the chance for rain. Aside from that, it does look dry. Just want to throw that out there. And that would be the 22nd and 23rd, if you're curious, if you want to go out that far. The next 3 to 4 weeks, so this goes all the way through basically, double check my days, all the way through basically mid-September, so September 10th, 11th, that time frame. Temperatures do look to get a little bit warmer, and by that it's based on an average. Average temperatures that far out do begin to dip down into the low 80s and get a little close to the upper 70s in some areas for average highs. So this is pretty much going to indicate that temperatures are going to remain in the low to mid 80s for highs. Lows generally in the upper 50s and low 60s. And then the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're kind of really close to the drier, the normal conditions, though I will say that there is some hope in the model data that does show that there could be some shower activity that moves in beginning of the month of September. Though that far out, a lot of specifics that you can't answer, a lot of things that can change between now and then, of course. So I like showing the outlooks just because it kind of gives you an idea, and it's not overly complicated. It can be complicated, but I like to show it because it can at least be understood of if you see a lot of red, that means, hey, we're going to be pretty warm, which is not always the case, but tries to give you a good visual of that. And not to mention, too, I think the folks at the Climate Prediction Center do a pretty good job with those for the most part. And it's also a little bit easier to show you that than try to make a bunch of other things to make it. I don't make it too complicated on this 19 at Noon show. I want to make it fun, relaxed. I can make it complicated if you ask me complicated questions, but generally I try to make it easy. Sue says, I'm sick, rain. I will say that some locations, areas east of Cincinnati, would probably disagree with that, but I understand if you're trying to make plans, Thursday night, Friday, and parts of the weekend doesn't really bode well with that. So I can hear you on that. Rachel says, I like seeing how it all falls together with the outlooks. Yeah, me too. I love, and something I might try to do in the future, is I love, A, I like forecasting, but B, I like looking back and seeing, hey, how did I perform? There's times where, hey, it sometimes doesn't always work out the way you expect it to, but it makes me motivated to work harder to get it right. And then sometimes when it does fall into place, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you trusted the science and the science prevailed. But weather's a very complicated science, and that can sometimes make you feel complicated and not always work out 100%. But I will say that I always try my hardest when it comes to those things. Okay, we're about ready to wrap this up because we've got to get ready for Now the Natty, which comes up in less than 4 minutes, actually now 3 minutes. So here's that 7-day forecast. We're going to have an updated, more detailed discussion on our website at fox19.com/weather. And of course, meteorologist Catherine Bodak will be in at 3 o'clock giving you more details on this update. And of course, Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer will also have more details on this beginning at 5 o'clock here on Fox 19. And also don't forget, he has his weather show at 7:15 like he does each and every night, weekday night that is, here on anywhere you stream, of course. So with that being said, we got to end this very soon. So thank you all so much for joining us here on this Wednesday edition of 19 at Noon. Really appreciate you guys, folks, who chime in. And hopefully I'll hear more from you on Thursday on our 19 at Noon show there as well.